Hey guys, so LeBron just signed an extension, a really big extension, and we thought that this could happen, but I didn't think that it was likely. If you watched our Lakers offseason video, then you knew that it was possible that LeBron could sign an extension. The reason I didn't think that LeBron would do this, and first of all, Shams Charania just reported that LeBron signed an extension of 2 years, $85 million a year. So not a year, but in total. So that's a little over $42.5 million a year at ages 37 and 38. And so the reason why I thought it was unlikely, and if you watched this Lakers offseason video, was because for two reasons. Number one, I thought that LeBron James would not want to tie himself to one franchise for those 2 years far off in the future, right? So he already has his current contract, and then he signed for 2 more years. So that means that he turned down his player option. So that's this coming year, he is under contract, and then for 2 more years after that. And normally, if you've followed LeBron's career lately, he likes to sign really short contracts so that he has all the leverage, so that he has the power, so that he's constantly about to be in free agency. So he kind of holds that power over the franchise, right? And so maybe this is LeBron saying, you know what, I'm not operating that way anymore. This is where I want to be the rest of my career. So this is a shift in how LeBron James thinks and how he acts in terms of his career and his contracts. Or maybe he's saying, look, I am going to be 37 and 38 years old, so I want that security. Maybe. You don't know. The extension is for 2 years, and it's an extension, so it's not a new contract. So this is the year upcoming, this coming year, and then 2 more years after that. So LeBron will be a Laker. It doesn't necessarily mean that he'll be a Laker. He could be traded still, right? But he is under contract now through his age 38 season. And so, good for him if he decided that I'm getting older, I want that security. But I think this is a horrible idea for the Lakers. And it sounds wrong because it runs through the 2023 season, it says. Now, that sounds wrong that this is the wrong thing for the Lakers because it's LeBron James. But think about this. You're going to be paying a guy who's 38 years old over $40 million. What was the contract, says PLB with MLB News. The contract was 2 years, $85 million, and it's an extension on top of the contract he already has. So it's $42.5 million a year, as Brandon points out here. And you're going to be paying someone who's 38 years old $42.5 million. Hard to say that that's a bad contract because it's LeBron James, but 38 years old is 38. That's what we thought about Kobe Bryant. So Kobe wanted to be, when he was 30, I forget how old he was, 34, something like that. Kobe was an old 34. He had a lot of miles on his body, but he also had his Achilles injury. So Kobe made over $30 million a year. He wanted to be the highest paid guy in the league. And obviously it's the Lakers. It's Jeannie Buss. They were happy to give it to him. But it held the franchise back, right? And so you see other guys like, Tim Duncan maybe, who used to take pay cuts for the Spurs. But no, we've instead got LeBron James at 38 years old making $42.5 million. I'm sorry, that can't be good. That can't be good. If you're a Laker fan, you're not happy today. Unless you just are a blind LeBron fan. But I think if you're a Laker fan, a fan of the team, you're not happy about this today. It's going to be really hard to fit in like Giannis if LeBron James is making over $40 million a year at 38 years old. And this also means that, Anthony Davis's contract will probably get done soon. And this weird little pipe dream that Laker fans had that AD is holding off for his contract to see what Giannis does, I think that goes out the window because they are tying a large chunk of money to LeBron James. And you better know that AD isn't taking a pay cut if a 38-year-old LeBron is not taking a pay cut, right? So how are they going to build around LeBron and AD when those guys are making so much money? Maybe they figure we don't have to build around LeBron and AD with superstar teammates because we just won a championship with just those two guys and not much depth. The Lakers didn't really have a third best player. So, maybe Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, they all look at this and they say, look, we just did this with LeBron and AD, not a whole lot of depth. Let's tie this guy up to our franchise until 38 years old, even if it costs $42.5 million a year, which is ridiculous. That'll absolutely be the most anyone's ever made at that age. But it also doesn't necessarily mean that LeBron will be a Laker for 3 more years. So this does mean most likely that Anthony Davis will sign that 2+1 deal because it'll make them both free agents at the same time. So we're going to now expect, because of this LeBron deal, and by the way, this probably was, this definitely was planned along with the Anthony Davis deal, because obviously LeBron is a Clutch Sports client, and Anthony Davis is a Clutch Sports client. So they're working these two deals in tandem, and LeBron just signs this 2-year extension. That means that we're going to have an Anthony Davis 2+1 deal coming very soon, maybe even today. And I don't think it's really worth a video. This was expected. It's just taking a little longer because obviously Clutch Sports had to negotiate 2 deals here. They had to negotiate a LeBron James deal and an Anthony Davis deal, so it's taking a little longer. But this is the core. The core is Anthony Davis, LeBron James. That's it, a big 2. So, Laker fans better hope that a big 3 doesn't come around, because I think that a 38-year-old LeBron James plus Anthony Davis, I'm not sure that that's going to be enough to get it done 2 years from now. But we'll see. This doesn't mean that LeBron's going to be a Laker until he's 38 years old, until he retires. Some people will look at this and say, oh, okay, this means that LeBron is willing to not do these short 1+1 contracts anymore that he used to do in Cleveland, because he wants to be a Laker for life, the rest of his life. And this doesn't mean that. Sometimes when guys sign extensions like this, they just become an asset, a trade asset. Now, we'll see if LeBron has a no-trade clause in this. He does, because he's a veteran. But he would have to sign off on that, but this doesn't necessarily mean that he'll be a Laker until he's 38. He could get traded back to the Cavaliers, for example, if he wants to end his career there. LeBron could choose to be traded to wherever Bronny gets drafted to, if that's his plan, right? And so we'll see. But it's still a really big decision, a really big thing to happen in Lakerland is that LeBron does this. And so I fully expect to see an Anthony Davis 2+1 deal, which means 2 guaranteed years plus a player option, so that LeBron and AD will be free agents at the same time. So that's it, guys. Obviously, this isn't worth like an entire video, but whenever there's little news like this that I think does kind of deserve to be talked about, I think we should go live. So guys, thanks so much for joining, and we will see you tomorrow morning for so here's another thing. Oh, it's just Shams reporting it again. Anyway, tomorrow we've got a Blazers video, and then on Friday, it is Feature Friday. Solihara gets a shout out. Bye, Jackie. How many years? It's 2 years. All right, I should stop. I'm getting distracted by the comments. Anyway, tomorrow we've got a Blazers video. On Friday, it's Feature Friday. What happened to Zaza Pachulia? We'll find out. All right, see you guys.